My goodness, what a couple of days in the NBA. Some insane trades. All the way from Saturday with the surprise Luka and AD trade. We'll touch on that later. All the way through this afternoon. Today is Wednesday, February 5th, and Jimmy Butler is a member of the Golden State Warriors. I have conflicted feelings about this. We'll get into it. I want to talk about De'Aaron Fox with the Spurs. I watched their game against the Hawks today, and some of the other things that are happening. But really crazy trade deadline. One of the most entertaining trade deadlines that I can remember. And the interesting thing that I noticed is most of the teams, almost all, yeah, most of them that made trades are all in the West. And Oklahoma City, Memphis, and Houston, the top three teams in the West, are looking down today at some insane moves with teams behind them. So I want to react to this Jimmy Butler to the Warriors trade. Why I had conflicted feelings about this is I kind of felt like he wasn't treating his situation in Miami the correct way, and that it was really ultimately ending in a headache or resulting in a headache for the Heat, just like it had been for the Timberwolves. And I don't think it was that way for the Bulls, but Jimmy Butler was, I mean, he was being a nuisance to the team for sure. And I'm not saying that Heat handled everything perfectly, but he created some drama. And so now that he's on the team that I like, I'm not super sure how I feel about that. I have had times in my life where I love Jimmy Butler. I mean, taking the Heat all the way to the finals in 2023 was fantastic. I was so entertained. I was completely on Team Jimmy, watching him go crazy against the Bucks in the first round. I just love guys who play hard and are uber confident, irrationally confident. Maybe in his case, not even irrationally. So he's now on the Warriors, and I think there's two perspectives I want to chat through. The first is let's do pessimistic first. The pessimistic view, so that we can end on some optimism. The pessimistic view is that number one, Jimmy is coming over to the West, where I don't think he has a ton of rivals or maybe hard feelings towards any of those teams. If he was in the East and traded to another team there, I think, he can make up some stories for any of the teams that he's going to play against and why he wants to eviscerate them and kick their ass. In the West, maybe the Nuggets, he feels he has some unfinished business against, maybe the Timberwolves, but I'm wondering if he is really going to buy in and really get to that like playoff Jimmy, playoff Jimmy mode. The other thing I'm worried about is will he capitulate to the Warriors being Steph's team? Is he going to bend the knee is hard. He doesn't have to bend the knee, but is he going to acknowledge that this is Steph's team and will he support that and try to play within that system? Or is he going to demand like I need to be the first fiddle here and if I don't get my way, I'm gonna cause drama. So I think, I mean, Steph is, well, we'll get to that in the optimistic side. But I'm also thinking along the same lines, what if he starts undermining Steve Kerr and things just they're not gelling well? And if that happens, Draymond is going to try to put him in check, and Lord knows how terrible that could get if they both start going at each other. So let me see if there's anything else here. Yeah, really what I'm just worried about is that he said that he didn't really want to come here. Maybe that was just a ploy to try to get the Suns deal done. But now that he's here, is he going to buy in? Is he going to play hard? Is he going to cause drama? I don't know. He did sign a 2-year extension and it will negate his previous player option that he had. So he's going to be, oh, I think Bobby Marks said it was 111 for 2 years. It's a lot of money. And Bobby also said that between Steph, Draymond, and Jimmy, their cap is going to be tied up 83% for those three players, which is a lot. So it's kind of a big risk. Enough pessimism. Let's turn to the optimism because this is what I want to believe, and I am going to hope that this happens. So what I was going to say earlier is Steph, while it is his team, he's easy to play with, I think. He's not like he's always been welcoming of other players, and I think he understands how to get along with other stars and knows how to create an environment where people feel comfortable and that they can win together. What I also think is Jimmy Butler, the same way that he galvanized that team in Miami to get to the finals, is he going to lift the play of everyone else on the team, where they see his intensity, his work ethic, they feel confident because they have him on his team. I think it could elevate their entire play. I'm super excited about that. Also, having Jimmy on the floor, I mean, he might not be a 3-point threat like Klay Thompson was, but other defenses have to prep for him, and they need to respect him, and that takes some more of the eyeballs away from Steph, letting him maybe play, make a bit more, get away with some more things. I think also now that he has his extension and he's out of Miami, there's a chance that he is satisfied that chapter is done, and now he just wants to ball out. And he was saying in Miami that he wasn't feeling the joy anymore, which we know now translated to they didn't want to pay me. But maybe there was some actual truth to that, and he finds his joy playing with Steph and the Warriors. I mean, Chase Center, while I haven't been there myself, not yet, that crowd, just the atmosphere that they create there and the style of play the Warriors play, that looks incredibly fun. And how you couldn't feel joy with the way that they're playing, I'm not sure. So I hope Jimmy really feels joy there. I also hope, I mean, he was like, what was he, 15 points a game this season on the Heat. I'm really hoping that he gets back to like 24 because that would be really helpful. The Warriors lost Andrew Wiggins, Kyle Anderson, and Dennis Schroeder. Three players that I really like and I thought gave them a lot of depth and options. Sad that they're gone, but I think ultimately Jimmy could instill some more fear into other teams that the Warriors are playing. So I think this could work. And let me just see real quick if there was another point that I had. Um, okay, yes, there was. Playoff Jimmy. He, I mean, it's one of the most incredible phenomena in the NBA. He goes crazy in the playoffs. If he buys in and recognizes that starting right now, not starting in the actual playoffs, starting right now, the Warriors need to start winning, and he just adopts that mindset and gets into that mode, the Warriors are going to climb the rankings and give themselves a shot in the playoffs. So I'm really interested to see what's going to happen. I mean, Jimmy Butler is an athlete that I think is really cool. I love watching him play. He's just a menace, and I love that confidence that he brings. So I'm really excited to be rooting for him. Thank goodness I would be rooting against him because that is scary sometimes. So we'll see what happens with the Warriors. Let's talk De'Aaron Fox and Wemby real quick. So De'Aaron was traded to the Spurs. I watched his first game in Atlanta today. Kind of ironic that they're playing Atlanta. The Spurs in Atlanta had the DeJounte Murray trade a few years ago, and there's some picks involved there. And so it's just interesting that now, as these teams have developed since then, they're playing in kind of a pivotal game or milestone game, the first De'Aaron Fox game. And the Spurs looked really good. They jumped out to it's like a 20-point game. I was watching, and De'Aaron Fox in the first part of the game was knocking down threes. He's pushing the pace on offense. Wemby, I believe, had a cold this game or like a stomach bug, so he wasn't feeling 100% apparently. De'Aaron also had his pinky finger and ring finger, I guess, like taped together because he's been dealing with an injury on his shooting hand. He was shooting fine, and watching him, like they interviewed him between quarters and before the game, he was joking around with Richard Jefferson and Mark Jones. He looks really excited, and all the other guys are excited that he's on the team and they want to ball out for him. And it's just really cool to see like this team is, it feels like they know they have an opportunity to kind of make some strides here. And yeah, that game was really fun to watch. Like I said, they jumped out to a 20-point lead to the point where in the third quarter, I was texting my friends, kind of listening to the game, thinking, okay, this is going to be this one has been decided. And then Atlanta came back. Like Trey Young had 2 points in the first couple of minutes of the game, like not really doing anything. And then in the fourth, they said, oh, he's reached the 30-point mark. So I think they went on an 11-0 run in the third quarter and made it a ball game. But I forgot about this part when Fox was traded. So not only is he an all right defender, like you're not gonna target him on defense. Not only can he shoot, I mean, I know the percentages aren't great. I think he's in his mid 30s for the 3-point percentage. And not only can he push the pace and really put pressure on you in transition, he's the clutch player of the year. And they were in a clutch game, and they ran two plays. One, De'Aaron pick and roll with Wemby. Wemby slips out. De'Aaron left-handed pass to Wemby, and Wemby he go it looked like a video game. He just tries to pocket back and just yam it in for the game winner. He gets fouled. Hawks call or they challenge it. Savvy move, by the way. I don't think they challenged because they thought it wasn't a foul. They had no timeouts, and so they wanted to drop a play. I thought that was cool. Um, and then that might have been the play before, actually. I'm getting the order mixed up, but the other play was De'Aaron Fox gets all the way down to the rim, and because he's going up with his left hand and the defender's coming over, Wemby was just there to put it back. And those guys, I'm really excited to see them because they are both going to instill confidence in each other. And it's interesting seeing De'Aaron Fox kind of in this older veteran role where he has young guys around him. And last note is Stephon Castle has some bunnies. He threw down some sick dunks in this game. All right, last note is on the Luka trade. By now, you've probably heard every angle, every opinion on this trade. I just want to say how my experience for it, it's like when we see something in the sky and we don't know exactly what it is, but we want to put some label on it to make it explainable and easier to interpret and to process and to understand. So we call it a UFO. So because we can't identify what it is, we're going to call it an unidentified flying object, therefore like giving it some definition. This trade reminded me of that because it just made no sense at all from the Maverick side. And all the reasons that I've heard still do not justify trading Luka Doncic and not trying to get a better return. Um, it's so unexplainable to the point where I was looking at outside external factors and I was thinking, did the government put this in play because they want us to not be focused on the recent crashes or other headlines? That hypothesis was quickly put to rest because I was visiting my sister over that weekend, and I was out to lunch with her husband, and his brother. None of them knew what was going on or who Luka Doncic was. So clearly not orchestrated by the government to just steal headlines. Then I thought, was it like the NBA potentially trying to make the second half of this season incredibly entertaining and must-watch TV. Could be. Did they want to maybe take some thunder away from the Super Bowl? Not sure. Um, everyone was calling back to the Chris Paul trade. There's so many differences with that. I don't think that the NBA orchestrated this. Um, then I thought, does Nico Harrison owe Rob Pelinka something, or does Rob Pelinka have something on Nico Harrison that made him do this? And I haven't heard anything like that. And then um, the last part is just I think this was just done out of pure stupidity, which is really the boring conclusion. And I don't like to call other people stupid, but um, I don't, I need to label it something. And it was either pure stupidity or, and I meant to flip this order, so excuse me, or the Mavericks know something about Luka Doncic that we do not, that everyone in the basketball world doesn't. And because they have taken an insane gamble, excuse me, they're putting themselves in position to be remembered in history by the team that initiated the worst trade in NBA history, and they were on the losing side. That's the position that they put themselves in, and how they could be remembered. And why would they do that if they didn't know, didn't have a reason? So time will tell whether they get this right or not. I don't see how that this would turn out good for them. I saw some Mavericks fans even say, even if we win the chip this year or next year, I would rather have Luka as a Mav. And I understand that. Like, if my favorite player got traded from my team, I'd be devastated. I don't even care who else comes and we win. Like, I wanted my guy. I mean, these are your idols in some cases. Um, yeah. So, and then let's see, do the Mavs have a chance in the West now? I say no. I think Kyrie was really good as a second option, and AD was really good as a second option as well. So I mean, I guess he is in this case with Kyrie being in front of him, but um, the basketball is an offensive game, and yes, you might be able to stop some people, but I think the good teams are going to be able to score on the Mavericks fine, and they need to be able to keep up with the other teams. Now for the Lakers, some people are arguing that they're not going to be that good this year. Their news just broke that they traded Dalton Connect for Mark Williams from I think the Hornets. So, and I watched them play the Clippers, and man, they have some big guys. And with Austin Reeves being able to shoot, LeBron playing great, they're going to bring Luka in there. They are a scary team. I think they're going to be able to put up points with anybody. And now that, I mean, when you think you have a chance, you're going to defend harder. If you're just trading blows with people and just like in the swings of a regular season, they might not have that motivation. I think they're going to be extremely scary to play. And one line that Nick Wright said that I thought was a very obvious but great point. Every single possession the Lakers have is going to be orchestrated by LeBron James or Luka Doncic. So say what you want if you think that they're not going to be good, but they're going to have a size advantage on OKC. I know they just got Daniel Tice, but come on. Um, Houston and Memphis, who knows? But the Lakers are going to have a chance. I'm super excited to watch it. And yeah, crazy trade deadline. The West, Wild West. So five teams in the West made some crazy moves. Um, I know some of the East teams made some moves, but the West is really shaping up to be quite the interesting watch the rest of the season, and we'll see who gets in. I believe the Warriors, who are in 11th right now, have the same amount of losses as the it's the team below the Timberwolves as the 8th seed though. So four teams all have the same amount of losses. It's gonna be fun, and we'll talk more about it at another time. Thank you for listening.